Everybody doesn't need to know that that's going to be your permanent seat. You need a pencil, honey? Yep. What, honey?
Oh, I was just announcing my permanent seat.
Here you go. You're welcome. Okay, now I do expect to see you in our Zoom class on Thursday. He puts his head down. It's so much better here. I really enjoy having my students back, just so you guys know. I like having people in the class. You guys actually talk. Oh my God, it's amazing. Well, you always talk, but.
I have perfect Zoom attendance. I've never missed a day of class before.
Never.
Never.
I have never missed.
You missed one
When?
when you went to Chicago.
Okay, but that doesn't count.
It does count. You missed the class.
Wait, what's
Ketlin. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember one time like she was asking a question, I didn't know the answer, and you came in and like saved me.
Oh, really?
Ketlin's always there. Okay, so now the question is how are, when factoring a trinomial, so trinomial, tri means 3, right? Tri, like tricycle, tri means 3. Nomial means terms, so 3 terms. So like this, notice it's 1, 2, 3, 3 terms, trinomial, okay? How are A, B, and C related? So ax squared plus bx plus c. A really doesn't have anything to do with B and C. I just want you guys to know that. Nothing. But we already know from yesterday when we were doing that cross thing, right, that B and C are related. And I'm not going to do the whole diamond thing. I'm just going to draw the little X here. Well, how are B and C related? Well, I need basically to get this number and this number. What do? I add to get B. And technically, I can say I multiply to get A times C. A can be in there. But for us in this class, we're only going to do A equals 1. Do I need to make that bigger, honey? Sorry. There you go. We're only going to do A equals 1. So basically, we're going to multiply to be C, right? So we're not going to do A. Trust me, we can do when A is bigger than 1. It's a lot harder, so we're not going to go there this year. Okay? So if you take me your senior year in college prep math, we'll go there. Okay? So basically this is what we're doing. We're finding 2 numbers that add to be B and multiply to be C, just like we did yesterday. Okay? So where do I find those? Well, C is always the constant. This is the constant. The number with no variable. Okay, no variable. Okay, and B is the middle number. I guess I want to say middle number with an X only. Not an X squared, just X, right? So that's what B is. B is the one with the X only. I'm going to kind of make that bigger so the kids in class can see that, guys. So the middle number, B is the one with the X only, and C is the one with no variable. So that's how I know which ones they are, okay? Always, always. All right, you guys ready to see how this works? It's so super easy, I promise. Could you guys do yesterday's work? Pretty good? Pretty good? Were you on yesterday? Oh, my Lanta. And I know you weren't on yesterday. Jonathan, you were here. Was it pretty easy? Yeah, okay. And you guys, some of you were on yesterday. It wasn't too bad, right? Okay, so here we go. So I have a polynomial, a factor. It does say if you can't factor, call it a prime. But just so you know, I think I picked all ones we could factor. Okay. So I'm going to zoom in here. And I am literally going to draw my graphic organizer every single time. And my graphic organizer is so hard, it's the X, right? I'm going to draw the X. And we've done that in Delta Math, right? Remember that X thing in Delta Math? We've done that already, right? So I'm going to draw my X. Okay. I need two numbers that add to be 7 and multiply to be 12. So I want it add to be 7 and multiply to be 12. Okay, so think about that. Two numbers that add to be 7 and multiply to be 12.
Like the same numbers? Or
Nope, they can be different numbers.
3 and 4?
3 and 4, yeah. So 3 and 4, and it doesn't matter. I could have written them on the other side. I could have written 4 and 3. Does not matter what side I put them on, because it doesn't matter what order you multiply things in.
No.
Doesn't matter what order I add things in.
No.
No, so it doesn't matter which order I put them in. Is that okay? Okay, and notice how much you guys, like on Zoom, I talk with my hands. You guys don't ever watch Zoom and me talk with my hands, right? So this is not my answer. This is ready for, my answer is this. You have to write it this way. X plus 3 times x plus 4. That's the answer. Okay, or whatever variable it's using, because if we're in delta math, sometimes it's not an x, right? So you got to pay attention if it's a y or an r, whatever letter they decide to use, it would be that letter that goes in there. Okay? You guys okay with that at home? Sorry, you're talking to the side, back to side of my head when there's people in class. Okay, so let's try the next one. Same thing. I'm going to make an x. Usually when I'm making them, they're not this big, by the way. They'll get more sloppier as we go on. So I need two numbers that add to be negative 12 and multiply to be 27.
What's the two numbers that?
Add to be negative 12 and multiply to be positive 27.
9 and 3.
9 and what?
9 and 3.
9 and 3. Okay, so let's put 9 and 3 here. 9 times 3 is 27. That's great. But 9 plus 3 is not negative 12.
Negative 9?
Negative 9. So negative 9 plus 3 is negative 12. And negative 9 times positive 3 is positive 27.
Oh,
Negative 9 plus negative 3.
Negative 9 and negative 3. There you go. So negative 9 and negative 3 is negative 12. Okay? And negative 9 times negative 3 is positive 27. So, got to think about those, right? Okay? So now when I write them inside my parentheses, this is going to be x minus 9 times x minus 3. Because they're negative signs. Okay? Is that not too bad? Okay, well, we're going to see because it's your turn.
oh, David.
So I've got, we'll start with these two. Hi, honey. See what we get since I got a couple answers in the chat box. So, so I need two numbers that are going to add to be negative 3 and multiply to be negative 10. So, oh, really? Okay. My phone's not ringing. Okay. So I think I was saying before the phone rang that if I'm multiplying to be a negative number, one of my numbers will be positive and one will be negative. Remember, that's the only way to get a negative number. So I know that to multiply by, to multiply to get to be 10,
Negative 6.
6 goes into 10?
No, I was saying, oh. Yeah.
To get to be 10, it's going to be 5 and 2, right? We all know that 2 times 5 is 10. One of those has to be negative because it has to be negative 10. So I know that it's going to be 2 and 5. The question is, which one is going to be negative, right? So I want a negative, so this is how I tell. I want a negative 3, right? So if the number up here, let's talk about this. If my number up here is negative, then my bigger number is negative. If this number is positive, my bigger number is positive. Just really quick and easy rules. So this is going to be negative. So it's going to be negative 5 plus 2 gives me a negative 3. So that means it multiplies to be, or it factors, because this is what we're doing, we're factoring. It factors to be x plus 2 times x minus 5. And remember, you could have written it this way and it would have been perfectly legal. X minus 5 times x plus 2. Either way is fine, okay? Both of them are correct. Doesn't matter which way you write it. Okay, and then the second B, I guess I should just say B. I can just say B, right?
Yeah.
B, same, let's try and get a ink instead of a highlighter. I need to add to B, what number is with this? With the X. How many X's do I have there? 1. So it needs to add to be 1 and multiply to be negative 2. So what numbers multiply to be 2? 1 times 2. Beautiful. Yes, it's a negative 2 because this is a negative sign, so it's a negative 2. So I want it to be a positive 1. So which one of my numbers is going to be negative, the 1 or the 2?
2. 1.
Because this number is positive, so my bigger number is positive. So whatever sign this number is, when this is a negative, so if what I'm multiplying is negative, I know I have to have 1 of each, right? So whatever sign this one up here is what the bigger number is.
Oh.
Okay, does that help a little bit? Okay, so then this becomes x minus 1 times x plus 2. Or the other way around. I don't care. You guys okay with that at home? Okay, I think we have 2 more problems to do, which are right there. Okay, I'm going to make them a little bigger. And I'm going to give you... Okay, here we go. Last 2, and then we're going to work on homework, which I think I gave you 10 problems on. 10 of these. I don't know if you can handle it. Okay, so this one's super hard. I need you to find 2 numbers that add to be 8 and multiply to be 7. What multiplies to be 7?
4 times 3.
Yes and yes. 4 times 3 is 7?
Oh, 4 times 3 is 4.
Okay.
So,
Nice, Esther. Very good. Don't forget your parentheses, though. There's only 2 numbers that multiply to be 7. I want to throw that out at you guys.
1 and 7.
1 and 7.
Oh, yeah.
You know why that one was hard? Because no one ever thinks of 1 as a multiplication. So always think of that, 1 and 7. And that's the only reason it makes it hard. There's lots of numbers. And even when some of the problems, like if it's 10, everyone wants to do 2 and 5. And sometimes it's 10 and 1. So always think of that as a multiple, right? Because sometimes it's that answer. So x plus 1 times x plus 7. Beautiful. Okay. And then the last one, we want 2 numbers that add to be 5 and multiply to be 6. How are we doing on time today?
Pretty good.
Oh, we're doing great. You guys were...
40 minutes, right?
11:35 is when we get out. 25 minutes. So what multiplies to be 6 and adds to be 5?
2 and 3.
2 and 3. Beautiful. So x plus 2 times x plus 3. Done. Is there any questions?